Welcome to the Guardianly podcast. At Guardianly, we're on a mission to modernize the phone call experience to make it safer, smarter, and more productive. A big part of that mission is protecting you from the growing crisis of scam and spam calls that target millions of people every day. Technology alone isn't enough. Education is just as important. That's why we've created this series, to bring real scam stories to life, stories that are sometimes shocking, sometimes heartbreaking, but always full of lessons you can use to protect yourself and your loved ones. In each episode, we'll review actual scam cases, break down how they worked, and share practical steps you can take to stay safe. Think of it as both a warning and a guide, helping you recognize red flags before it's too late. And in today's first episode, The Global Pandemic of Online Scams, we'll explore just how widespread this problem has become, why scammers are so effective, and what you can do to fight back. So sit back, stay alert, and let's dive into the world of scams together.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a whole stack of sources, research, articles, and basically pull out the most important insights for you.
That's the plan.
And today, we're diving into something that, well, it affects almost everyone online now. The global pandemic of online scams.
It really does. Our mission today is, to peel back the curtain bit on what's become one of the fastest growing crimes globally. We've looked at a lot of material to help you understand, really, how these scams work, why they're just so damaging, and maybe most importantly, how you can spot them and defend yourself.
Think of it as your shortcut.
Yeah.
To getting up to speed, armed with some, frankly, surprising facts and practical advice.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's unpack this term first. Pandemic. It immediately makes you think of health crises, obviously.
Sure.
But what's kind of chilling is how well it actually fits online scams.
Right.
Like a virus, they spread fast, they mutate into new forms all the time, and they really prey on our vulnerabilities.
Right. And the scary part is a scammer doesn't need to fool everyone, not even close.
Right.
They just need a tiny, tiny percentage to bite. Because the cost of sending out, say, millions of scam texts is practically nothing.
So if just one person in 1,000 falls for it,
they've hit the jackpot. The
Yep.
scale is just staggering. If you look at the FBI's numbers, their Internet Crime Complaint Center, they reported losses over $12.5 billion.
Wow.
Just in the U.S. in 2023 alone.
12.5 billion. And globally.
Globally, yeah, that number jumps into the hundreds of billions of dollars, easily.
So this isn't just like a minor annoyance.
Oh, no. It's genuinely one of the largest organized criminal economies operating today, anywhere in the world.
And behind those huge numbers, those billions,
Yeah.
that's where it gets really disturbing, isn't it? There's a human story.
Every single time. We're talking about actual tragedies. I mean, picture a retiree who spent their whole life building up savings.
Yeah.
And then it vanishes in days.
Yeah.
Because they trusted someone, a voice on the phone maybe.
Or think about a small business owner, like a local hairdresser or a landscaper, just trying to make ends meet. And they get hit with a phishing attack. They click a link in an email that looks totally legit, maybe from their bank.
Right. Looks identical.
And suddenly their accounts are drained. It's devastating.
Yeah.
And beyond the money, there's this other layer, this shame. You mentioned that scammers use that.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of their most powerful tools. Victims often feel incredibly ashamed, isolated. They might be too embarrassed to even tell their own families what happened.
And the scammers count on that silence.
They totally do. They know if you're quiet, you're less likely to report it, less likely to seek help. It lets them keep going.
So what's the advice then, if someone finds themselves in that awful situation?
It's tough, but the crucial first step is realizing that the shame isn't yours. It belongs entirely to the criminal. And then talk about it, even just to one trusted friend or a family member. That's how you start taking back control and break that cycle of silence they rely on.
That's really important. Okay, so how did we even get here? It feels like things escalated so quickly. If you think back, remember those early scam emails, the almost cartoonish Nigerian prince ones?
Oh, yeah. Terrible grammar, random capital letters.
Exactly. You look back now and think, how could anyone fall for that? But there was a reason they were like that, wasn't there?
There was, and it's kind of clever in a really dark way. Those emails were, well, they were often bad on purpose.
Bad on purpose. How so?
They acted as a filter. See, if you're skeptical, if you notice the bad grammar and the weird story, you just delete it.
Right.
But the people who don't get filter out,
Right.
who maybe overlook those red flags, they were the scammer's target audience, the most vulnerable.
So it weeded out the cautious people right away.
Pretty much. But fast forward to today, whew, the game has completely changed. It's a different world.
Oh, totally. Now, scammers are using things like AI-generated text. It reads perfectly, like a real person wrote it.
And deepfake voices. They can clone someone's voice from just a few seconds of audio.
Terrifying. Or even fake video calls. And they can spoof phone numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the call looks like it's coming from your actual bank.
Yep. Or they build websites that are pixel-perfect copies of your credit card company's login page.
It makes it so hard to know what's real anymore. That line between reality and deception is just blurring.
Which brings us to the big question. Why do people keep falling for these things? Even smart, savvy people.
Yeah.
Well, psychology plays a massive role. Scammers are experts at exploiting basic human emotions. Fear, urgency, love, even greed.
So that urgent call saying, your account's been compromised.
Yeah.
Or your kid's in trouble.
Exactly. If you get a call like that saying your child's been in an accident or your bank account's about to be frozen, your first reaction isn't logical. It's emotional. Panic.
You're not thinking straight.
No, they trigger that fight or flight response. They create what psychologists sometimes call cognitive load.
Wow.
They hit you with so much urgency and emotion that your rational brain just kind of shuts down. You react instead of analyzing.
That makes a lot of sense. But what about emotions beyond just fear or urgency? You mentioned loneliness earlier. How does that play into it? That seems particularly cruel.
It is incredibly cruel and sadly very effective.
Wow.
Many romance scams, for example, specifically target older adults or people who became isolated maybe during the pandemic. And for some of these victims, the scammer, well, they become their main source of daily contact, attention, affection.
Wow.
The scammer builds this deep emotional connection over weeks, months, sometimes even years. Then they start asking for money, usually with some elaborate sob story. It's a slow burn, horrible manipulation, but it works because it taps into that fundamental human need for connection.
Yeah, that's bleak. Okay, zooming out again, you mentioned the global scale. It really does feel like a pandemic because these operations are just everywhere. They're borderless.
Absolutely. You could have a single scam syndicate based somewhere in Southeast Asia, for instance.
Yeah.
And they're simultaneously hitting victims in North America, Europe, Africa, all from the same operation.
Yeah.
We're definitely not talking about, lone hackers in basements anymore.
Oh, it sounds much bigger.
It is. Many of these scams are run by sophisticated, organized criminal syndicates. They have actual call centers, detailed scripts, training manuals for their employees, even performance quotas.
Like a real business, but criminal.
Exactly like a shadow industry. It's structured. Some reports even suggest that in certain regions, entire local economies are significantly propped up by these massive scam operations.
That's wild. So law enforcement must be all over this. But you hear it's like playing whack-a-mole.
That's the common description, yeah. They do make arrests, they do take down groups,
But
the barriers to setting up a new operation are relatively low, and the potential profits are just astronomical. So you take down one group, and it feels like 3 more just spring up to take its place.
is there any way to disrupt that cycle more effectively? Or are we just sort of stuck in this chase?
It's a massive challenge. The real key, many experts believe, is disrupting their money flow, making it much harder for them to actually get the money out and launder it.
Follow the money.
Right. International cooperation on that front is crucial, but it's incredibly complex. You've got different jurisdictions, different laws, and now the rise of cryptocurrencies makes tracing funds even harder sometimes.
Which leads us neatly into, where's this all going? What's next? Because scammers always seem to be one step ahead with technology.
They adapt incredibly quickly. Right now, we're seeing a huge surge in AI voice cloning scams. We touched on it, but it's worth stressing.
Yeah, the idea that someone can grab a clip of your voice from social media.
Just seconds of it. Create a convincing clone. Then they call your mom, your dad, pretending to be you, crying, saying you're in trouble, you need money wired right now.
The panic that must induce. Hearing your own child's voice.
It's not science fiction anymore. This is happening today.
And beyond voice cloning.
We're also seeing incredibly sophisticated cryptocurrency scams, entire fake investment platforms that look completely real.
With charts and customer service and everything.
Oh, yeah. They lure people in with promises of impossible returns, maybe even let them withdraw small profits early on to build trust. Then, poof, the platform disappears, along with all the invested money.
So the future looks faster, cheaper for them, more personalized scams.
And even harder for us to spot. That seems to be the trajectory.
Which is exactly why we're doing this deep dive, right? Because while we probably can't eliminate scams entirely.
No, probably not.
We can arm people on awareness. Education really is the first and maybe the best line of defense.
It truly is. Our goal here is just to explain the tactics, help you recognize those red flags we talked about.
Because once you know the tricks,
they lose a lot of their power. They're less scary. You're more likely to pause, take a breath before clicking that link or wiring that money. You question that urgent call instead of just reacting out of panic.
that pauses everything.
Knowledge gives you that moment.
So wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you listening? Well, this deep dive, I think, has shown pretty clearly that this global pandemic of scams is very real. It's evolving constantly, and the impact is, well, it's deeply personal and damaging.
Yeah, we've looked at why they spread so fast, the awful human cost behind the statistics, how they've morphed from those crude emails into these hyper-sophisticated AI deceptions.
And why even really smart people can get tricked.
We've seen how organized these criminal groups are, how borderless their operations, and how technology is, a real double-edged sword here. It empowers the criminals, but it also gives us tools to fight back, like awareness.
So the key takeaway seems crystal clear. Knowledge is power. Understanding how these scammers operate, how they think, how they manipulate.
Yeah.
It just makes you so much better prepared.
Definitely. To protect yourself and maybe help protect the people you care about too.
Think of this deep dive as maybe part warning system, part playbook.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Because as that line between what's real and what's fake keeps getting blurrier, the ability to just stop, think critically about urgent demands, about unsolicited offers, about anything that pulls hard on your emotions.
That ability becomes essential. Not just helpful, but essential for navigating the world today.
So the question to leave you with is maybe, what will you do differently now? Knowing what you know about the modern scam landscape, stay sharp out there.
Stay sharp and stay safe.